Welcome back, gamers, to the Experience Points podcast, and this is the EXP review of Final Fantasy
VII Remake.
And as usual, Blackout's nice and rude. It's okay.
It wasn't rude.
That was Reno. Okay, it was more than that. It was Reno.
Reno too.
Yeah, I love those two damn characters. They were so fantastic. This is going to be our first official review. We've done a couple of reviews before, but it was just a format that we were trying to do, and it just didn't quite work out, so those reviews got erased.
Dude, your PS4 sounds exactly like my PS4 used to sound. I hear that, boy.
That's funny.
You better check that on Fan.
It's all good. I'll check it. Anyway, we here at Experience Points Podcast, like I said before, we're not journalists, and we're not experts, and we don't have degrees and stuff like that. We don't do this for money. We do it because we like talking about games. And the reason we call it the Experience Points Podcast is because we personally care about our experiences with video games, especially with our 30+ years experience with video games, going all the way back from Nintendo and all the way up to the 64 and the early PlayStation days, which were amazing. And very troublesome, but all the way up to where we come from now. And this game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is extremely special to both of us, and it basically was one of the foundational games of our friendship. And for it to come out, 23 years later, it's just more than a dream come true. And I just want to take a quick second to say I wish, I said this before to Eric, to Blackout, but I just wish my boy Trey was here to experience this game with us. But, my first playthrough of this game, it was for the 16-year-old me, it was for Trey, it was for our friendship, it was for just a legacy, and it was definitely an amazing experience. But with that being said, we are not going to do the usual review of the game. We're not going to talk about the usual stuff that people normally grade things on. We're going to talk about the immersion of the game. We're going to talk about the quality of life stuff that the game has, the addiction factor. The soundtrack is a part of that, I believe, and then we're going to finally give it a score. And all these things, we believe, make up an amazing experience for any game. And we are excited to talk about it. Any thoughts before we get into it, Jones?
It was a great game, but let's get right to
it. All right. Well, like I said, we played the original from 1997, and me personally, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and my favorite RPGs of all time. And the game just it literally changed how I looked at games and how I played games and how I viewed games. And almost every RPG after Final Fantasy VII had to live up to Final Fantasy VII. I know that's not fair, but there were a lot of copycats after that, and a lot of imitators that just couldn't quite live up to it. But anyway, I could talk about that for days. But anyway, we're going to start off with talking about the immersion factor of a game, how immersed we got in this game. And one of the huge things in any RPG especially is the story and how they handle it. Jones, what was your favorite aspect of the story?
I liked a lot of things about the story. I mean, I like the character development, even though I know the development, but it's like they were able to do a whole, different thing where you can hear the voices and just see how they interact with each other. And just like how everybody seems to be trying to soften up that tough guy exterior that is Cloud Strife.
Especially the women in this damn game. They were
women.
All after him. I was so shocked that Just was trying to do him.
For real. Jessie was thirsty.
Within the first 2 hours of the game, she basically invites us food to her house.
Yeah. And Wedge is all like, don't fall for it, man. But I think she had different intentions for Cloud.
Hell yeah, she did. She wanted that sword, that Buster sword.
Wanted that blade beam.
She wanted that. She wanted that climb hazard.
I'm sorry, she wanted the blade burst.
He's so stupid. Anyway, yeah, they fleshed out everything, and I didn't know what to expect. I was literally expecting just a 1-to-1 upgrade of this damn story. That's all I was expecting.
For the most part.
And I was going to be perfectly happy with that. But then when you start seeing the Whisperers and you start seeing things being more fleshed out, and they start going a little bit off the story, off the beaten path with the story, I was like, this is all right. This is nice to see. It's really good to see something new, but have it be familiar.
Speaking of those Whispers, I just have a theory about this because, it hasn't been set in stone, but I feel, and don't ask me how, but somehow Final Fantasy VII Remake is actually something that's like came from the future of Final Fantasy VII. They've actually had hints of this a few times where it seems like Cloud's talking to himself, or not necessarily Cloud, but they show those flashback things where it's like you see stuff that's all about this is what'll happen if we fail today, and it's like so. And then there's certain situations every time something seems like it's gonna veer off course from what happened in the original game, on chapter 4, or into chapter 3 when you come back from your little excursion into the above sector 7 part when they're planning on going to the Mako reactor without Cloud. And so you notice that those Whispers came and they didn't leave until Jesse got injured, because in the original game Jesse did not go on that mission. None of them did. Just Tifa, Cloud, and Barret. So pretty much they kind of set it up where they forced Cloud to go, because remember Cloud wasn't even supposed to go on that mission.
100%.
So they changed that up, and then there was another situation later on near the end of the game when a certain somebody stabby Barret, and then they pretty much just resurrected that man.
Yeah, they definitely did. That shocked the hell out of me too. I was like, what did they just do?
Yeah.
I was like, no, they can't kill Barret. And on that note, it brings me to a point that I wanted to make. You had that long stretch of game where you didn't have Barret in your group. And up until that point in time, they had really built up the relationship between Cloud and Barret and Barret and Tifa really, really well. And when I didn't have Barret for a long time, I was missing Barret. I was like, please, I want Barret back. I mean, and it wasn't like I was having a bad time with the game, but I was missing his personality. You know what I'm saying? I was missing his interactions with Cloud and even like the small parts of dialogue. And even the small parts of dialogue that they had, with each other, even when you're just walking around, I was missing that. And then the same thing happened when I lost Aerith, because they did such a great job of developing her character so fast and so quickly that when she was gone, I was like, damn, I wish she was around. And I loved it about the game.
But the actual thing is, in legitimacy, that's about how long they're actually gone in the original game, except for the original game doesn't base its main part, off of just the first part of the game. So it's like, what seems to only be like a few minutes in the original game is like days of gameplay.
Exactly. And they did a great job with that. They did a fantastic job. What do you think of how they introduce and finalize the appearance of Sephiroth? Well, not finalized, but in this story, how they did it. Did you enjoy that, or do you wish that you wouldn't have fought him immediately?
I wish we didn't fight him immediately. See, that's actually a point that I was going to bring up. See, like that was one of the things that kind of irritated me. It didn't completely, because I figured they would have to do something like that, since this is only the first part of the game. You can't let the final battle of a game be against the stupid monster truck thing. Like, you got to do something bigger. But I did not like. I mean, I don't mind that you fought a form of Sephiroth, but I didn't like how they literally kind of made it feel like they forced that onto you, and like they even like half the scenes made it look like his final encounter when they show like Cloud and him one on one. They show like Sephiroth then Cloud, and it comes out showing them back and forth doing their poses before they're about to fight. I didn't care. I felt that they were just trying too hard to like make it like the original game. Like that could have been saved for the actual final encounter that'll probably happen on part 3 or who knows, maybe part 4 of this game.
That actually, it did feel like a final fight, and I understand why they did it, because they wanted the fans to have a big payoff at the end of this long wait for this damn game, and I get it. I just wish, and I had a great time with the fight. The fight was awesome. You start off with Cloud, and then Tifa comes in, and then Barrett comes in, and you take on Sephiroth together, and that got me hyped. That got me hyped as hell.
I had Cloud and Tifa and Aerith.
I was hyped. The more people I got, I was like, yeah, let's whoop his ass, let's kick his ass.
I guess it's based off of what 3 people you have before you go into that whole thing.
I gotcha. Yeah, mine was a bit different than yours, but yeah, I enjoyed that final fight a lot. I understand what you're saying. It did feel a little forced, but with that being said, I still love that fight, and they did a great job with it.
No, the fight was good, but that fight, like I'm just saying, they could have made like, I don't know, they could have held off on Genova and made Genova the final boss of that disc if they want. I'm sorry, that part if they wanted to.
I got you.
It would have just made a little more sense.
That is true. Well, that leads us to our next points. We're still in this topic of immersion, so let's talk about the pros and cons of the game and the gameplay and things that you liked and things that you didn't like.
Well, there's a lot that I did like, but let's start off with one of the things I did not like. And that is mainly, although this might actually, never mind, because this might be part of the battle system talk. Never mind on that.
I got you.
So, I mean, okay, you start off. Yeah.
It's all good. As far as immersion goes, the thing that kind of broke the immersion for me was, for me personally, when I play games like this, and the games that they blow my mind from a visual standpoint, which this game definitely did, and there's so much attention to detail paid for, with Cloud and with Tifa and all that kind of stuff. I was like staring at Barrett's gun at one point in time. I was just looking at it, and then I was looking at his jeans and his shirt, and I was like, damn, they got such great detail. And then
did that except for Tifa for the wrong reason.
Giggity. And then I have a habit of looking at the faces of characters when they're talking to see if the mouth syncs up with the words. And with almost every single piece of dialogue in this 45-hour game, it did. Okay, but when you go to those side missions in the wall market, there was one character talking, and it looked like he was chewing a mouthful of peanut butter when he was talking. I was like, what the blue hell is this? What is happening right? Is this a horse? Is this a horse talking?
Was it one of the dudes in the gym? Was it one of the dudes in the gym?
No. It was the guy who asked you to go get his grandpa, that or his father. His father. That guy. His teeth were moving. It looked like he had dentures in. His teeth was moving up and his tongue was flapping around.
Going back to that, because this might be another one of those situations where we got a different set of quest lines. Who represented you around that time in the Walmart?
What do you mean?
Like, did you get a series of quests that went with Madam M, or did you get a series of quests that went with Shockaboo Sam's?
Oh, you actually do both.
No. There's actually 2 different storylines, because there's side quests that you get depending on what choices you make going into that chapter. You get different side quests.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but the way you're talking, I think we got different ones, because I don't know about some dude talking about going to get his father. I don't know what you're talking about, so that's why I'm assuming we were on a different set of storylines there.
I got you, but that's not the only time that's happened. A lot of the side quests, when it's not like a main story character, the attention to detail, you could tell what wasn't done with those characters. And I understand, you can't give that level of detail to every single character in the damn game. I get that.
Yeah, you can.
I get that, even if you don't. But still,
I get that, but you still can.
It was weird. It was so weird. That actually broke the immersion for me. I was like, And something else that broke the immersion for me is when Badass Cloud went to do his freaking dance scene in the honeybee. Oh my god!
Okay.
I hated that.
Just to be fair,
I hated that.
That whole thing is kind of just Cloud getting out of his comfort zone. And I think they expanded on that even more because of the time that we live in now. You know, with the whole you know how things are. We don't even need to go into details, but I believe that is exactly why they expanded on that as far as they did.
Oh, trust me, I know why it was done, and I know the reasoning behind it. Also, and that's the same reason why the freaking the gym leader had lipstick on. And he was a dude, basically was a tranny.
Don't get me. We all know that. Yeah, we all know. Don't use the word gym leader because it just made me think of Pokemon. But yeah, we all know exactly what you're talking. Even his name was kind of feminine, but yeah, he just, like I just look at like. I'm gonna take you so serious. Like I can't really take you serious. Yet he was kicking my ass in the damn
Hell yeah, he was.
Watts challenge.
It was terrible. Lord.
Actually, he was worse in the pull-ups. I don't know if you even fought him in pull-ups yet, but yeah.
Yeah, he has, and I tried for 45 minutes yesterday to beat that pull-up challenge, and I just the very first time I did it, we tied. And then every time after that, I couldn't do it. So I'm going to try again tonight and see if I can beat it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of focus. Like it's like you have to kind of rest your mind for a minute or two because yeah, if it was actually always in the same order, it'd be a lot easier too. The fact that like it switches off, but then it's like you're doing it so many times that it's like finally it's like you think you're doing good, or sometimes you fat finger it. It's like you actually had a beat, but then you accidentally fat finger. You barely touch that button and it go and you fall. I'm like, oh son of a.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
But I did it.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
Well, I did beat the squat challenge. I beat that pretty easy. That wasn't hard to do, but
there's one challenge that you beat on your freaking first try. I reset that thing like 4 or 5 times and I couldn't do it. Do you know what challenge? Do you know what I'm talking about? It gives you a trophy. You should know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Which one?
This is actually when you're doing Cloud's dance in the Honeybee Inn.
Oh, that was easy.
No, it was not easy. All those flashes, lights, and distractions. That crap was hard. No, that was not easy. Not easy. I still have to do that. I finally, after like 8, I tried like 10 times. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. I need to get on with the story because I knew there was a chapter later. I was like, I'm just gonna come back and do this later. I don't have it in me to do it right now. I didn't even actually have confirmation that it was a trophy, but I just knew it was a trophy. Like I just have certain senses like, oh, this is gonna be a trophy.
Well, a quick side note, because I have to go back and do it again because there is music that you get.
You should have got it. If you got the trophy, you should have gotten the music too.
I didn't get the music. Yeah,
he gave you a gift.
Nope, it has to be. Yeah, he gave me a gift, but it wasn't that. It has to be 10 greats, and I only got 8, and I got 8, and I got the trophy. But it has to be.
What kind of gift you get? What kind of bullshit is that?
It has to be 10 greats in a row in order to get that music. That's the only way to get it. You will get there. Moving on.
I'm gonna be choreographing that crap.
You're gonna be dancing in your room. Moving on, I guess we could talk about the side quests as part of the immersion factor. I didn't really play the side quests in the beginning that much.
I did.
The first set of side quests I did because I just wanted to do them all before I got out that area. But then the second and third set of side quests got longer and longer, and I was just interested more in the story. So I did a few of them. And then the ones that were taking longer and longer, I realized that, and I just stopped doing them. So I went back post-game, and I did the side quest there, and I found so much more content there.
Yeah, the chapter 14 ones definitely give you a lot to go off of.
Yes, but we will get back to that in a little while. Next, we're going to talk about the quality of life improvements that were made to this game, and also to the user interface upgrades that they have that changes they have made in this game. Hit me, Jones, hit me.
Well, as you know, I'm a very because I'm one of those people that will save almost every 5 minutes. So having a save anywhere feature is just like I can't tell you, especially when you know it's like you know there's certain bosses that are gonna be coming up like oh
Oh yeah,
hell.
oh yeah. And to be honest, I do miss the tent system, and I do miss the save points. I was waiting for a tent to show up somewhere in the game, but it never showed up. So
Okay. Well, look at it like this. Maybe in the second game where you're not fixated inside a town, so there can just be bitches all over the world.
that is very very true, and that would be awesome if they did it like they did in Final Fantasy 15.
15.
Oh my god, I would love that. I'd love that,
Yeah,
man.
that was pretty awesome.
I love that in Final Fantasy 15. You're stretched out with your chocobo. You're just chilling. I love that. I hope they do that.
I've come up with a new recipe.
That would be awesome. Let's see what else. The materia system was just it's so great to see those little orbs, and
I
you
do
know
love looking at them in my weapons.
exactly, and having the time that they actually held them. Now I will admit, I thought materia was a lot smaller than what they presented it, because the first time you see a piece of materia being held by Jesse, I was like, damn, that's huge. It looks like a Dragon Ball.
Okay, here's where you're wrong at, because if you actually recall, in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, they show Yuffie, however the hell you want to say her name. I'm sure we'll hear about it in the second game. But you remember, like, they show her, hey guys, you need the material. She's got it, like, piled up in her arms. Like,
that is true.
So, yeah, I think that's about the right size for him.
That's 100% true. I definitely forgot about that.
Totally slight side note. I wonder what materials did Scarlet destroy in that damn cutscene. There was 3 summoning materials. 3 summoning materials. I wonder what they were.
Huh. That's a good question. We'll definitely have to look that up a little bit later, and maybe.
I'm sure it won't have any information about it, but that's probably gonna be something that they're gonna cut from the game because they don't want to do it. Oh, Knights of the Round was in there.
Knights of the Round would be insane in this damn game. Just have all 12 knights surrounding the enemy and just whooping his ass. That'd be great.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the material system. I like how they changed the names of some of them. I like the introduction of new ones, of course. I mean, I definitely expected that, but I didn't bank on as much as we got. But that was definitely a nice little bonus.
Technically, none of them are really new. Maybe new to Final Fantasy VII Remake, but not new. Like, okay, which ones are you referring to being new?
Well, I mean, unless there's something I missed, in the other game, there was quite a few that I've never heard of before. Let's see, the Magnify is basically the all materia. Okay.
Oh, you're not talking about summons. Never mind. Okay.
No. Not talking about summons at all.
Oh yeah, that was like a necessity for it to becoming more of an action based. Well, not. You know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the engine is, you can't just have the same kind of material. But yes, Magnify was all, basically.
Mm-hmm. They had all those different ones for the ATB gauge, which was great.
Yeah.
They changed. There was one that to change the name of. It was a green materia.
Barrier.
No, because they had barrier in the original game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a green one. I can't think of the name of it, but they changed it. But it was like a basic materia. I'll think of it later. But
You mean poison?
No, because it was called poison.
Raise or revive?
I think revive was it. Yeah.
It might have been because it was called so it's revive in this game, right?
Yeah, it's revive in this game. I think it's something else.
There was always revive
in the original.
I thought it was revive. No, it was life, I think.
There you go.
I don't know.
There you go.
Was it life?
Yeah, it was life. Life and life too.
Well, that's actually a thing that they've been doing, like over the Yeah, I know you haven't played as much online stuff in terms of Final Fantasy, but like pretty much all the online Final Fantasies call it revive and raise and stuff like that now. So those actually are like more in touch to the the newer generation of Final Fantasy.
Yeah. And I think it was 9 that started using the fire and fire and Fireaga and
Okay, that's
stuff like
one
that.
thing that I never really liked. I preferred it being like Fire, Fire 2, and Fire 3. But yes,
I
they've been doing.
love that. When I first came across it, it was weird to me for a second, but it just made sense, and I don't know why. I think it lends itself to that whole fantasy thing. Instead of saying, life two, you really wouldn't do that in real life.
Yeah, Life 2.
It sounds more like a spell is being cast.
Yeah.
And that's why I actually love that they kept that, and I'm so happy that they kept that in this game, or they changed it for this game.
Yeah, but that's another thing that's kind of confusing because, like, in Final Fantasy 11, my original online game, Fire Ga was an AoE spell only. Like, it was only for AoE. So, having Fire, Fire 2, Fire 3, Fire 4, then Fire Ga 2, Fire Ga 3, Fire Ga 4, and then they even had the Fire Ja, which was a real confusing thing right there.
Lord.
But yeah. But no, it does make sense that they do it like that, since you can magnify it anyways and make it an AOE. So I guess I've gotten used to it over the years, but I do still kind of miss hearing Fire 2, Fire 3.
Yeah, I got you. Next on the list is the chapter select thing. This for me honestly just kind of a hit and miss, because I wish that it was like you can select chapter 3 and then select a spot in chapter 3 to go to, instead of having to play through the entire chapter again.
The chapters aren't that big, and I do understand what you're coming from.
And that's 100% true. But last night, in chapter 9, there was a mission that I had just skipped altogether because I knew it was going to be long. So I didn't want to go through the whole damn thing, so I moved through the story. And when I came back to it...
You had to go through the crane area. Yeah, I know, because that's exactly where I stopped last night. By the time I got to or I should say, by the time I even got to the gate to Sector 7, I was like, I'm going to sleep.
Exactly. And having to go through all that is a pain in the ass. And even more so, you have to trigger each individual side quest in order to get to another one. It's not like you can just go straight to side quest number 14. You have to trigger 11, 12, and 13 to get to 14. You know what I'm saying? And then, like in chapter 14, when I was trying to get to the side quest I was telling you about earlier, where the guys asked me to look for his father, I had to trigger 4 more beforehand in order to get to that one. And they weren't like short side quests. I knew what to do, so I made them faster, but it wasn't like short side quests. So right now, I'm trying to come up with a way to tackle multiple trophies in one run, because there's like several things that I need to get from chapter 14, but I can only do it by doing it in a certain order. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I wish in chapter select you can just pick the chapter and then pick a section in that chapter to go to. That would be nice.
Just do your work. Hey, I did everything my first playthrough. Well, everything that I could do my first playthrough, I did my first playthrough, so I'm not mad at that one. Yeah.
Well, we all don't play like that, okay?
Well, you should.
Next, under the quality of life upgrades for this game is the weapon upgrade system.
I like it. I do like it because it makes it feel like, in the original Final Fantasy 7, you get a weapon, you get a new weapon. Oh, it's more powerful. You equip it. Oh, it's got more material and it's more powerful. You equip it. Like, there were very few times that you would go back to using the Buster Sword once you got something like the Mithril Saber or something like that.
Yep, exactly.
And once you got the ultimate weapon, it was just game over.
Exactly. And the fact that they made each individual weapon basically a tool that you can use. So say like with the weapon that I used the most towards the end of the game was a hard edge. But that's because I built it up to be a powerhouse. Now, with Barret, I used Big Bertha, but I didn't build Big Bertha up to be a powerhouse. I built Big Bertha up to be a defense only kind of weapon.
Tank.
Like
tank. It's tank. Say it with me.
Tank.
You made him to be a tank.
I made him to be a tank. Okay. And with Tifa, she was just a speed demon. I built up her chi, and I built up her speed. And she was the fast hitter in there. So But if I didn't want to build them up that way, I could have picked a different weapon and built it up a different way.
Yeah.
And that was just so awesome to see, because I wound up using, for different bosses, I wound up using different weapons, and I switched out and I built up that the upgrade system in a different way. And I never went back to using the Buster Sword.
Ironically, I used the Buster Sword through most of the game. The only reason I actually really switched off of it because literally I needed a damn weapon with more materia slots.
I see. But by end game, I had a lot of SP. Is it SP? Yes, SP.
Yeah.
Had a lot of SP for each weapon, so I went through and I built them all up just to see what they were and what they can do. And I was doing some side quests, not side quests, but the whatchamacallit,
VR missions.
The VR. Yeah, I was doing the VR missions at the end of the game, and I just wanted to see how well the Buster Sword performed. So I used it there. Then I wound up switching back to the Hard Edge, which is still my favorite weapon in the entire game.
I'm not actually sure which weapon I'm using on Cloud right now. I think I'm using his last weapon. But I think, again, it's mainly just because I'm trying to build up my materia, so I want to have as many materia slots as possible.
I got you. Have you gotten every weapon for everybody?
I got every weapon for everybody before I beat the game, sir.
Well,
have we not gone over this? This is why it took me so damn long to beat the game, because I scoured every inch, nook, and cranny of every area before I moved on.
Well, post game, there were only 2 weapons that I missed. That was all.
Let me guess. One of them was Tifa's purple glove.
Yep.
I bet that was one of them.
Yep, you were right. Purple Pain.
Everybody misses that one. I actually only found that one on pure accident.
Well, there you go.
But still, everybody misses that one.
I was missing the Purple Pain, which is a terrible name, by the way. And
I don't care for the color either.
Yeah, me neither.
It's kind of
yeah, it's ugly as hell. And I was missing Barrett's last weapon only because I didn't offer that freaking butler $10,000 because I.
Yo, my God, why does nobody
I didn't talk to him.
Come on, yo, here's the thing: if they're really gonna offer you something like that, there's gotta be a secondary reason behind it.
But that's the
same reason why. That's the same reason why I spent $3K on the stupid finger massage, because although I think that one really doesn't matter other than for like getting certain quests.
That was a different reason why you did that. We all know that. So
shut up.
You were like, yeah, baby, massage those fingers. Anyway, like I was saying, I didn't talk to him after I talked to the mayor or the spy or whatever. I just left. I never talked to him. So
I talked to everybody. I talked to the mayor at least 5 more times before I left out his room.
You're so stupid.
That's not why I play.
Anyway, so that is the weapons upgrade system, and it was definitely helpful.
So you actually had to steal. You had to steal materia to steal it from that one boss from Barrets. I'm impressed on that one. Granted, I did have I think I literally just started equipping steel right before I got to the train graveyard. So I'm impressed that you got Aerith's weapon like that, or unless you can just buy it if you didn't get it.
Nope. Steel is one of my favorite pieces of materia in Final Fantasy VII. And even back in the original game, I stole from everybody I could. And in this game, it's not easy to do. Actually, last night I was fighting the boss. The boss that Hojo releases, that big weird monster thingy that has the big right hand. I was trying to steal something from him that I wanted, and I tried to steal from his body like 5 times. It wasn't working. I was like, I'm gonna try something. So I went to steal from his nasty right hand, and it was in his hand. It was in his hand.
Goodness,
how genius is that? How genius
that's clever.
That? I was like, there it is. Hell yeah, I got it. It was so exciting.
Oh, that's smart.
And speaking of exciting, we're going to go on to our next topic, which is addiction. So far we've gone over immersion, and we've gone over the quality of life. Next we're going to move on to the addiction level of a game. And since we're just talking about weapons and the battle system, we're going to start off with the battle system.
The battles are very addicting indeed, especially how every character feels unique. Unlike in the original game, I mean,
yes.
Like, Aerith had, she felt like a healer, but other than that, every character felt exactly the same, other than, okay, Cloud slices, Barrett shoots, Tifa punches, Sid spears, Red 13 bites, Vincent shoots, Yuppie throws. Other than that, everybody felt the same because of how the material was. You know, pretty much everybody could be a specialist in whatever you want them to be. In this game, like, you know, they can still specialize in magic and stuff like that and abilities, but, you know, like their fighting style. Cloud, you know, he's a good all-around person, but he's not very good against aerial opponents. Tifa's a really good close ranger. She pressures well, and she is really a beast against flying enemies too, even though it doesn't seem like she should be. But she be comboing the hell out of those things in here.
And she's your main staggerer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant by pressure, but yes, she's your main staggerer. And then, you know, Barrett, he's good for long range and support. Like, for me, he's kind of like a backup healer, tank / you know, long range fighter. And then Aerith is your magic user. Oh, the only thing is you gotta be real careful with Aerith because she ain't got no kind of hit points. She can kill too fast.
That's why I use HP Plus.
And with that being said, my only gripe about the battle engine is how stupid the freaking NPCs are.
Oh my God.
They are idiots. Idiots. Idiots.
Okay, wait, hold on. On that note, real quick, I'm gonna say that my experience with them being beasts and them being idiots has been 70-30.
They're more beasts than idiots.
I'm 100% positive. They're most, in my experience with the game, there have been more beast eaters because when I'm in a high pressure fight, like, okay, one of the first times, okay, this is not true. One of the you know, I'll just say it. One of the first times I really noticed it, even though it happened before, was when I'm in the sewer and I'm fighting those freaking guys with the spears, those freaking monsters with the spears that turn you to the damn toads. Hate those son bitches. Hate those bastards. They were so
my favorite enemies.
hard.
Worst enemies in this game.
They were so hard when you first fought them. I had to go back a few times and save and change up my materia just so I can go.
I didn't have to do all that.
Just so I can go back and beat them. But in those fights, when I was Cloud and I was trying to target one of those guys, I would always have Barrett and Tifa come over and help me. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with every big boss fight I had in the game. They were always on it. If I backed up, they backed up. And if I went in to pressure the fight, they did the same thing for me. I got a bunch of video on my PlayStation 4 of multiple times when, like, I was doing like a combo with Cloud, and then Tifa would come in on her own, and then she would do some special moves, and then Bear would be in the back just blasting away. And it's just this magic moment where everybody comes together. Like, hell yeah, they're working together. On the opposite end of the spectrum, last night I was doing the fight, and literally Aerith is turned around facing the opposite way and just like dusting off her dress. I'm like, chick, the fight's over here. Get your cute ass over here and get into this damn fight. And I had to switch over to her and get her into battle. And then I switched back to Cloud. And then after that, she was actually in the fight.
Okay, see, now going back to my thing. Now, maybe it's because I am a more demanding battler. I want my people to do what they need to be doing. Like, look, if they see me on defense, they need to start like doing, like, the only thing that they do right is like I have to set provoke materia. I have Tifa have provoke materia, and I use a auto cure where it's like, exactly. When I get in the low health, they'll heal me. But other than that, like, certain times they need to see, like, when I'm struggling, I'm like over here fighting like 3 things, and they're over there on their own fighting like 1 thing. Like, dude, you all need to come over here and support me while I get my damn ATB up, my gauges and stuff. Like, I can't do nothing. Like, oh, and it's like they don't do what you like. I swear to you, if I'm not attacking, they ain't doing any serious damage. Like, if it was up to me, I'd have it set up like, bam, you know, Barrett hitting big shot or whatever, bam, Tifa using overpower, bam, 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 bam. No, half the time they just chilling on their ATB like, oh, hey, I got 3 ATB. Or not even, they be looking like they're attacking, but then when I need them to heal, they ain't even got ATB to do that. Like, what the hell are you all doing while I'm over here getting punched every 2 seconds? That's what I'm talking about. And don't get me started on that Sephiroth fight. Literally, I had to switch to Aaron so she could, like, the for like the 2 seconds to like get them off, or like I should say switch to Tifa to get Sephiroth's attention off of Cloud. Then I gotta switch to Aaron to like have her get some TP up, and then so she can't even heal me because she ain't got no damn ATB gauge, so I gotta go do some quick attacks over there. Then I gotta switch back to Cloud real quick because Sephiroth will one-shot her. Then I gotta switch back to Aaron, heal. Oh no, too much micro. Hold on.
Breathe.
Too much micromanaging from my sake. It almost feels like I wish you could just have 3 of your 2 friends playing with you, because I feel it would be
exactly what I was gonna say next. I wish there was a multiplayer mode in this game, because that would be so amazing.
That'd be so perfect. Oh man, I would love that.
So amazing. Three people playing online. Oh my god, man.
That'd be so great. That would just be so great.
That'd be amazing.
Because that's another thing. The AI, they just instinctively attack whoever you're controlling. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Hell yeah, I noticed that.
As soon as you switch, they come right after your ass.
Real quick.
I hate that.
Real quick, because I went back to fight Hell House last night because I loved that damn fight. It was amazing. And even the second time, it was just as amazing of an experience. But as soon as I switched to Aerith, because, in post-game, she gets really, really strong. So I was attacking, and then he, turned his attention to me. Then I switched to Cloud, and he revved up and just charged for Cloud. I was like, you asshole.
Exactly! Exactly! It don't make... that's, like, the only things that really grind my gears about the game. They needed to do a couple differences in battles, and I don't understand they have to give an online 3-player mode. That would just be like the pudding on the topping on the cake. I don't want to say pudding because that was just gonna go a real wrong direction real quick. That would have been the topping on the cake.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
But with all that being said, with all the pros and cons, the good and bad, I'm over 60 hours into this game, and I still love the battle system as much as I have when I first played it on the demo, months ago, and it only gets better, because not only do you know these characters now, even more than what you did back in the day, I feel I have a more personal connection with these characters now that they've actually come to life. You know what I mean?
On a total side note, it's just something you remember you used to say you love Predator mode, and I was like, I don't really already use it. I like only attacking Predator mode now. Like I don't not use Predator mode. The only time I don't use Predator mode is when I have to hit a damn airborne enemy.
That's hilarious. Well, with that being said, you need to start using I think it's called Disrupt is one of his special moves.
I have that. Yeah, I know where it switches out from being in, what form you're in. Trust me, I use all those skills.
And counter stance. Counter stance is fantastic too.
Every last one of those skills as I use. Actually, I don't lie to you. I hardly ever use Braver anymore.
I use Braver all the damn time.
I just have other better things to use than Braver now.
And
Braver, I use Braver when I'm doing the damn box challenges.
I got you. That would definitely take him out quick. And that's something else I love too. That with the limit break system, that blew my mind because you got Braver at the start, and it's like, okay, that was a limit. Why is it just a regular move now? And I thought they were kind of downplaying that, but there's so much more that they added to that system. I'm not gonna lie. I wish that everybody had at least 2 legit limit breaks.
Everybody does have at least 2 legit limit breaks.
I mean that you can have there. You know what I'm saying? So you can choose. You can
pick from them.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because I forgot all about cross slash. After I got climb hazard. Well, it's not called climb hazard in this game, but.
No, the first one is climb hazard. The second one is like No, wait.
No.
What's it called? Oh, the second one is someone that starts with an A. The first one is like, I don't know anymore.
The first one is cross slash.
Oh right, okay. All right, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. And I've never gone back once I got the second one. But there is one perk to having the first one over the second one, because you get the limit break up faster when you have the first one. Like you have to, it takes more to charge that limit break gauge. Of course, when you're near the end of the game and those things hitting you as much as they do, it don't even matter.
I did not know that.
And the second one's a way stronger.
I got you. Yeah, most definitely. Let's see. Moving on from the battle system, I'm going to talk about the character development, which we already touched on a little bit. But you know, it's not just the characters being developed from a story standpoint. For me, the characters were developed not only from the relationships they had with each other, and not only from them coming to life with their voices and the amazing voice actors, they did a great job, but also too, you know, how you outfit them with materia and with weapons and stuff like that, and the way you create them, the way that you see them in your mind is how you're going to outfit them with their weapons and with their materia and stuff like that. And that's just another part of character development, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah, because like I said, I made Barrett, you know, a tank early on, and you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people did that. But
well, I mean, some of his abilities kind of make it seem like he should be a tank anyway. Like his damn second weapon ability is lifesaver.
Right, and that's 100% true. But for me personally, I mean, I might be looking too deep in this, but from a story standpoint, he's been a protector this whole time, and a protector of the planet and stuff like that. And I just lend itself more to me making him a protector instead of like making him like a powerhouse. But you know, each style he has, it is justifiable, and that's how they made it in the game, which is fantastic. But I like that we had that choice to make them who we wanted to make them from a weapons and materia standpoint.
Total side note, I hate his actual meleeing, like just using a melee weapon, but I love his weapon abilities he gets from the melee. Like, I love that uppercut.
Yeah.
I love that wrecking ball. They're just fun to use.
The first time I saw him swing that damn thing and kick, I was like, oh my god, this is the slowest
exactly.
slowest Yakuza kick I've ever seen in my life. He was like, punch, kick.
It was hilarious. I'm like,
punch,
oh.
kick.
He looked like what they would make like the Hulk look like on a Super Nintendo game.
But you know, even though he did, you know, it was very bootleg the way he moved, but that is how his character would be. You know,
I would hope he'd at least be a little faster than that.
He's this big brawny character, and like you and I talked about before, when you and I first played the demo, we had a little discussion about this. You know, with Cloud, you're rolling around fighting the Scorpion, and he's quicker and he's faster and he's leaner. But with Barrett, you roll, and it's like this 2-second roll. You know, it took him like 15 seconds just to roll and stand up, but it felt like Barrett.
Yeah. And then when you play with Tifa, she's rolling like a freaking like a ninja. The Hedgehog.
I was waiting for her to turn blue and do a spin dash.
For real. She is so fast. Like, you can literally outrun attacks with her. And you actually have to insert, like when you're in that one chapter with Barrett and Tifa, you have to fight that stupid ass, that evil monster thing that has like 20 forms and keeps eating his little buddies and all that other stuff, and you literally have to run around to avoid his attacks and stuff.
I know, right? That's good stuff. Freaking battles were just... I still love going back to those battles, even though now I'm finishing those fights in like, you know, a minute and a half now, but still.
One of the easy ones, yeah. No, don't say that. Go to chapter 18, there might be another story, but yeah. I know what you're saying. It's just cool. Like, I haven't even re-gone to chapter 1 yet. I just want to imagine how I'm going to rape that Scorpion now.
Well, don't be so sure about yourself, because that brings us to our next point, which is
hard mode,
which is post game perks. All the things that you can get when the game is over. One of the first things I did was I did start over, and I put it on hard mode because I wanted to see. And when I first started the game over, I think I beat the game at level 38, I believe. And the first couple of guards that you fight, they hit me a couple of times. My life was like halved. I was like, oh shit. Wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? So I had to like back off a second and like take these guys down. And then I stopped after like the maybe fourth or fifth fight because I wanted to do some leveling up with some materia, and I want to head back in hard mode with all my materia maxed out, and I got about maybe 78% of my materia maxed out now. I just got a few of the bigger pieces of materia to max out, and it's probably going to take a couple of days to do that because those bad boys they got like 5,000 for level 1 and probably like 8,000 for level 2. So
I got one that's like 25,000 for level 2.
Exactly. So it's going to take a minute to get those level up, but I'm not going to start over in hard mode until I level up my materia.
Oh, I've already learned. Oh, yeah, you're level. I saw, by the way, you're level 50. I don't even have level 50 people yet. I am not going near hard mode anytime soon.
One of the next things I did was I went to the VR missions, chapter 16, whatever the hell that is.
17. I haven't done it yet, but yes, chapter 17.
Chapter 17, yeah. And that's the best place to go to level up your materia and level up your characters and get Gil. So if
what do you need Gil for? Tell me, what do you actually need Gil for?
Trust me, you will find out. You need Gil for stuff.
Not really. I don't think so.
You will. Especially you, Mr. 100%. You want to get everything and buy everything. You will need Gil. But yeah, the end game stuff is just as addicting as the regular the first run through. And I'm just even going back to certain areas to get to certain things. I'm still enjoying seeing these things again and seeing it from a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because the first run through is always the first view, and it's always, it's little things you miss here and there. And when you go back post game and you're stronger and you have a different view of these characters, seeing the interactions with Johnny and stuff like that, from that different perspective is still just as amazing as it was the first time. So I'm definitely having a great time post game. And our last little point of review will be the soundtrack. Now, you said earlier that you think the original soundtrack still beats this one. Why?
In certain aspects. Not all the time, but in certain aspects. Like, for example, when you're in the Shinra building, I kind of preferred the original soundtrack over the remake. I mean, because, like, it just felt like certain parts it was going kind of soft. Where I just like hearing the damn... But in the remake, they kind of like throw some side stuff in there, which is, it's cool. It shows that it's modernized, but it just wasn't feeling it as much.
I got you. Well, I disagree.
I know you disagree, but we agree to disagree.
There's not been one part of the soundtrack that I have not enjoyed. And that includes that the only piece of music that I've not really kind of been keen on has been the Honeybee Inn. That I have issues with the Honeybee Inn.
Do you mean the actual song that's playing when you're dancing, or do you just mean the regular Honeybee Inn period?
The song when you're dancing
is pretty normal.
The song when you're dancing. Also too, I realized that
that song is catchy, by the way. I don't care what you say. I actually like that song. I'm not necessarily saying I like to see Cloud dancing to that song, but I do like that song. Cool.
That's fine. I mean, it might grow on me because to be 100% transparent, the song from Mario Odyssey, I didn't like that song at first either. That song annoyed the hell out of me, but then I loved it later on. Anyway, I also noticed. Let's not start that. I also noticed that I have almost every piece of music minus 2. I'm just missing. Actually, no, I'm just missing one piece of music right now, and it's the one I told you about earlier. But
the same one I'm missing. Because I would have gotten every one from down my first playthrough had I not known about that bull crap.
But I realized that they did a lot of jazzy remakes to a lot of music. There's this one remake that's death metal. A lot of it is rock. and then the rest is jazz.
Death metal is definitely fight on.
Now, I love jazz. Jazz is one of my favorite things, but I wish there had been a little bit more variety when it comes to the soundtrack. With that being said, I still have loved every single piece of music that they have put in this game. The way we got the music in the game was really reminiscent of Final Fantasy 15, and that was one of my absolute favorite parts of 15. Just getting that music and hitting the road in the car and putting it in the CD player and listening to whatever song you liked, because they did a good job remixing the music in that game. But every time I found a piece of music in this game, I just stopped. I listened to it for a good full 2 minutes, before I moved on. So,
but keep in mind that the music that you actually get, those soundtracks aren't even a part of the actual gameplay. Like, those are unique to those discs. Like Fight On, which is also in the game, which is the boss music. It's just a completely different version of it, which is cool that they do it like that. Like, right. Barrets theme sounds country as hell.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I said is reminiscent of Final Fantasy 15. As far as the regular music goes, from the very moment I put this damn game in, I did exactly what I did with the original game. I just listened to the title theme for a good 15 minutes. And the way they remade it here is just so orchestral, and it's so epic and grandeur, and it fills you with that amazing hope of getting through this game and getting through the story. And I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. Indeed.
Good.
No, I'm sorry. I had to turn the thing down. There was a background sound coming in.
It's all good. I didn't hear anything.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, I did enjoy the game. I enjoyed the music. The music was great, but I'm just saying, certain times when I wanted to be harder, it was a little softer for me. That's all I'm saying.
I gotcha, and that is definitely a personal preference. I think they did a fantastic job blending the music in with the regular game, because this is a conversation we had before. But when you're running through a town or you're running through a part that has battles, and the music is going and going, but then when you get into a battle, it ramps up and it gets faster and it gets more action oriented. And then when it finishes, it slowly slows back down into that calm, and I love that. It gets you amped up to fight. It's a beautiful thing. Before we give our score, our personal score of this game, which we're not going to do in a normal way, we're going to rate from 0 to 100% on the level up scale. Was there any surprises in the game that made you do a Homer scream?
Well, I was, let's see.
And not necessarily, like you were scared, but just like a happy squeal.
Well, he has a woohoo as well as a scream. Well, it was cool that, at the very end of the game, you see that Biggs is alive. Mm-hmm. And then, Wedge being alive, which more than anything gives me the hope that Aerith will not die. That is my ultimate hope for this game, that we can get to a resolution that Aerith is alive, even though I understand that Aerith dying has a major part to do with the story, but just let her stay alive, please.
But I don't know if you missed that flashback, but Cloud already saw that happening in this game.
But yeah, I know. But as I've already told you, things are changing. Remember what I told you about those whole Whispers things? They pretty much beaten the things that are causing stuff to stay the same way. Right before you fight Sephiroth, your whole point of actually going there is to fight the arbiters of whatever the hell they call them, the shadowy big demon figures that are basically trying to keep things the way that they're supposed to be, which it did help us because Barrett would have died. But now that that's dead, maybe, just maybe, Sephiroth won't be able to go and be stabby stab. Maybe Cloud will make it there in time to stop the stabby stab.
Well, that is actually a good point you bring up, because that's another great change in this game. They have introduced these entities that could change anything, and that gives them license with their own game to change whatever the hell they want in the future. And that would be amazing if Ares didn't die when we thought she was supposed to die. If she made it a little bit further and died,
or she doesn't die at all. Just hear me out here. She doesn't die at all.
Aerith has to die. I'm sorry to tell you.
No, she doesn't have to die.
Yeah.
Oh no! Here's what they do. You find out that Aerith's mother is actually still alive. Yay! Big reunion. Then she dies. Aerith's mother dies. Problem solved.
I'm going to ask you this real quick before we give our score. Who was your out of this entire remake? You know, with the main characters that we played as and with all the other characters, who were your top 3 favorite characters in the entire game?
Just out of, like, including NPCs and everything?
Everybody.
Top 3, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I can't even say Cloud is my number 1 because Cloud is more or less how I expected him to be, kind of the emo kid. And I wish he was a little bit, you know, I wish he kind of came out of his shell a little earlier than he did. But I love what they've done with Aerith.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's so much of a joy. Like, she's got that flirty way, but she's always got that happiness going. Even when she's not happy, she's still kind of happy.
Mm-hmm.
They did her character really good. I enjoyed Tifa because, like, in the original game, you didn't, like, they make you feel her struggle a lot more, like, you know, her doubts about things. Like, you know, before you didn't think that she had so much character in the tapes, of like how all the whole stuff of Avalanche was affecting her. Like, you know, she makes you have a real point to how she feels about that.
True.
And then finally, at first I wouldn't have said that because in the beginning I felt that Barrett was just like a freaking ghetto-ass black dude. Like, he has a lot of heart, man. Everything he says, he has an actual purpose behind it. Like, he ain't just saying it for being an angry black man. Like, he legitimately feels for the planet.
Don't you feel the planet crying out for pain? Do you?
Get help. Do you? Yo,
damn straight I do.
Get help. What you say? But, like, you know, like when he's not trying to be a hard ass to Cloud, that's when you can really feel his true character come out. Like, you know, he's really a kind dude. Like, you know, like, he might try to act like a tough guy, but he's really a kind dude, and like he's you know, he loves Marlene. Like, he'll do anything for that girl. And I like how they made Marlene look more human. Like, in the original game, she was like a freaking creepy doll.
She was so cute. Marlene was so cute.
She was.
My number 1 favorite character. No, I'm gonna start the other way. My number 3 favorite character in this game was Don Corneo. That horny son.
He's an honorable mention for me. He's an honorable mention.
It was so creepy. I love how they made his character come to life. I was waiting for them to show him, and they did it perfect. He had that long ass comb over.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, he reminded me of, like, freaking, what's his name? He's like a Birdie from Street Fighter 5.
His belly jiggled every time he laughed, and he turned out to be a legit creep, and I love how they did that with him.
He was. Even like how he just held his hands up to his face half the time. Yeah, he was a super creep.
My next favorite character, which I loved how they made this character come to life, and the battle that you had with him.
You're talking about Reno.
No, I love that battle too. What the hell is the president's son's name?
Oh, Rufus. Rufus was a badass.
Rufus. Oh my God, he was a badass in this game. I was like, I can't even hit this dude. What the hell's going on?
He was completely different than what I thought he would be. Like, you know, his character in the original game, completely different than what it is in this game. Especially when I'm an ex-soldier. Oh, so I own you. Like, wow, he said that. Like, he felt more like his father. Like, you know, President Shinra was a dick to begin with. Like, Rufus originally felt like a different person. Like, he almost feels like he is just like, you know, he took more from his father, and he was just like, damn. But, like, I wasn't expecting. He was a badass. Like, he wasn't supposed to be that badass with a damn shotgun.
That is one of
That
my
shotgun was broken as hell. It took me like 10 minutes to actually figure out how to hit that dude.
exactly. But with that being said, that was one of my favorite fights in the entire game because they did that so smart. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you had to take your time and figure it out, and you couldn't just go in and you couldn't just slash away. You had to figure that shit out. They did
Hell
such a
yeah.
great
Every
job with
time he
that.
countered you, a blast you in the back of the damn head.
That was fantastic.
And even that damn dog, I ended up having to limit break that damn dog. I had to get rid of that dog ASAP. That dog was raping me.
That's the first thing I did. I was like, I've got to take this dog out and then attack him. And then the fight went to a whole other level. I was like,
yeah. I'm thinking, as soon as I get rid of the dog, it's gonna be easy. Nope. Not at all, sir.
That's exactly what I thought too. As a quick side note, I love the fight with at the end in the Shinra building with Barrett and Ares fighting that damn that damn machine. I was waiting for us to go into the damn elevator and do that fight, but I'm so glad that they changed it up and did it indoors.
Yeah. I'm thinking, how they gonna fight on that elevator? That elevator like too small to do that. Like that's what I was thinking the first time. As soon as I was looking at those elevators, like how they gonna do it? But yeah, they definitely made that fight good. The arsenal, that thing.
That was a great fight.
That was a scary fight. It
really was.
I had a lot of times.
Yep, I almost died too. I think I died with Ares, and then I had like a small chunk of life left with Barrett, and then I got my limit break, and then I finished him. I screamed when I finished that damn thing. And I'm not looking forward to fighting that damn thing in hard mode. That's gonna be interesting.
I'm looking forward to fighting a lot of things in hard mode, man.
And
Kevin said he had trouble on Guardian Scorpion.
That's hilarious.
I don't even think he beat him.
Well, we'll see what happens. And my number one favorite character in the entire game was definitely Ares. You know, from the time I saw her on the title screen.
Yeah, you had a boner for her.
I legit had a crush on this chick. But then with her character, you know, being developed throughout the game and her going to her mom's house and seeing her interact with the children, and then how she made that selfless act and giving herself up to protect Marlene. It's just like, man, they did such a great job developing her. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do with her in the next chapter of the game.
She was hot as hell when she was wearing that dress. I don't know which dress you had for her, but she was looking good as hell when
I got the red dress, and that dress was amazing. But I'm looking forward to going back and getting the other two dresses to see what they look like. So no spoilers on that end. But that means
I don't know either. But I mean, oh, by the way, which dress did you pick for Tifa? I mean, well, you know, in chapter 3 they give you the option of what you'd like to see her wearing. What did you pick?
I picked sporty.
I picked exotic, and you know, and that worked out perfectly for my loving Asian ass.
You damn freak. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You're gonna love sporty so much more. Okay.
Really?
Yes, trust me. And with that being said, on that freaky ass note, we're gonna score this game on a score of 0% to 100% on the level up scale. What do you give Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I give it a 95. Because it was near perfect. We discussed on the few things that are annoying, like you said, the lack of detail on some of the side quest characters, the talking and stuff, and like just how sometimes, more times for me than you, how the AI is just fake calm bad. But other than that, yes, I give it a 95.
Well, I'm going to give it a 97, and that's going to average out to be a 96, but I do agree with everything you said. The game was not perfect, but it is, and will forever be, a justifiable and quantifiable remake that far exceeds our expectations of anything that you know, that we could have possibly just imagined or dreamed, and I'm very, very much so looking forward to the next installment to see how they do the open area and all those amazing things that came from that section, and you know, fighting that giant snake and the farming of the chocobos and getting your first vehicle, and then the airship and meeting Sid, and oh my god, I cannot wait to meet Sid because Sid is my favorite Final Fantasy VII character.
Sit your ass down and drink your goddamn tea.
I love Red, but Sid is just is up there with my all-time favorite Final Fantasy
Yes,
characters.
because you love spear characters.
I love
On a
spear
side
characters.
note, if it was a full game, I would have gave it 100. If it came out at one big ass chunk like I wanted it to in the first place, where we still be playing it for like another month or two, or maybe even longer, I would have gave it 100 right off the bat. But it's still gonna be game of the year. It's gonna be a game of the year. It's beyond game of the year candidate. Like hands down, this will be game of the year. I don't see any. Well, The Last of Us 2 does come out.
Nah.
It's gonna be a very. Well, let me rephrase that, because you know I didn't play through one all the way yet, but I'm just saying people love The Last of Us, so it's gonna come down between Final Fantasy VII Remake and The Last of Us 2. I feel, unless it actually got pushed back to next year. I don't know how far it got pushed back.
They got pushed back to June. Well, I would say that Last of Us 2 would have to be perfect in order to beat this game for me, because right now this is my game of the year. And with that being said, don't forget, gamers, keep on
leveling up.
That's so good.